April 8, 1945, 0430 hours. SHAEF, Forward Headquarters, Reims, France. The dim glow of a single desk lamp cuts through the haze of cigarette smoke in the map room. General Dwight D. Eisenhower hunches over a sprawl of charts, his fingers tracing the jagged line of the Rhine-Patton's Third Army, has just punched across it like a sledgehammer through glass. Outside, the spring rain drums against the blackout curtains, a relentless patter that mirrors the thud of Eisenhower's pulse. He mutters under his breath, "Good God, but it's not all this time. It's something heavier." His chief of staff, General Bedell Smith, paces in the corner, tie askew, eyes bloodshot from 3 days without sleep. Eisenhower straightens, rubbing the bridge of his nose. The words hang unspoken. Patton's moving too damn fast. Sicily, France, now the heart of Germany, always charging ahead. Tanks roaring like demons, outpacing supply lines that stretch thinner than a paratrooper's parachute silk. You can almost hear the growl of those Shermans in the distance, grinding through mud toward the Elbe. But Ike knows the cost. Reports flood in. Fuel dumps empty, ammo trucks bogged down 200 miles back. GIs scrounging cigarettes from captured krauts just stay warm. He glances at the latest decrypt from Bletchley Ultra Intelligence, whispering of SS Panzer reserves massing near Kassel, ready to counterpunch. Patton's corps are spearheading blind. Radios crackling with that cocky drawl. We gonna hang their skins on the wall. Eisenhower's jaw tightens. Speed wins battles, but wars? Wars demand caution, a grind of logistics, not glory hunting. He picks up the field phone, hesitates. One call to Bradley, and he could yank the leash. But Patton, ... That firebrand son of a bitch has bailed them out before. Reims falls silent, save for the rain. What if reeling him in snaps the momentum that's cracking the Reich wide open? Section 1. The Midnight Reckoning. Eisenhower slams the receiver down without dialing. "Beadle," he says to Smith, voice low like gravel under treads. "Get me the latest from the 12th Corps. And coffee black." Smith nods, vanishing into the corridor where aides scurry like shadows. Ike leans back, the wooden chair creaking under his frame. His mind replays Normandy. Patton's phantom army of rubber tanks fooling Jerry into paralysis. Then the real breakout at Falaise slaughterhouse of 10,000 Germans in a pocket, closed by Audie Murphys. 50 cal alone. Genius. Reckless genius. But this is different. The bulge proved at Patton's 4th Armored Division, slashing 100 miles through blizzard and blitz, in 48 hours to relieve Bastogne. Heroes' blood froze on those roads, but it worked. Now, with Berlin 300 miles east, the Ruhr pocket swelling with trapped Wehrmacht, Eisenhower pours over the overlays. Red arrows Pattons, jet-like bayonets toward Chemnitz. Leapfrogging Montgomery's cautious Brits on the north flank. Monty's been griping again, that pipe-chewing limey, demanding priority for his 21st Army Group to take the Ruhr prize. Ike's no fool. Politics simmer beneath the gunsmoke. Churchill's breathing down his neck, Roosevelt's eyes on the '48 election. A knock. Lieutenant K. Summersby slips in, tray and hand coffee steaming, her Irish lilt cutting the tension. "General, it's fresh." And the 12th Corps. Walker reports 90% fuel exhaustion, but they've seized Pilsen intact. Breweries full of beer, sir. Eisenhower chuckles despite himself, but it fades quick. Beer won't stop panzers. He sips, the bitterness grounding him. Private doubts claw deeper. Patton's speed is a drug, intoxicating, but overdosing could leave Third Army a hollow shell when the real fight hits Soviets racing from the east, Red Army steamroller unstoppable. You can feel the chill seeping through the walls, the weight of command pressing like a stalled tank. Eisenhower stands, pacing to the window. Peering through a slit in the curtains, he spots sentries in ponchos. M1 Sislung, scanning the dark for spies. SHAEF's a fortress of secrets, but Ike's mind races unwatched. What if Patton overruns his lines? Deserted villages, sure, but SS Werewolf is lurk, snipers in every steeple. Last week's report, a convoy ambushed near Trier. 20G is dead, trucks torched. Patton shrugged it off, acceptable losses, but Eisenhower sees the ledgers. 250,000 casualties since D-Day. Families waiting stateside. Smith bursts back in, folder clutched like a grenade. Sir, Bradley on the line from Luxembourg. Says Old Blood and Guts is pushing for Berlin. Wants to beat the Russians to the punch. Eisenhower's face hardens. Berlin the prize, the symbol. But Monty wants it too, and Zhukov's hordes are 150 miles from the Oder. Ike grabs the phone. Brad, Ike, slow him down. Link up with 9th Army first. No lone wolf crap. Click, the order hangs. But has he reined in the bull, or just poked it harder? The line goes dead, but Eisenhower stares at the phone like it's hissed back at him. Bradley's voice echoes in his skull. Ike, George's boys are smelling victory. You yank too hard, you'll break their spirit. Spirit, that's Patton's elixir, the wild-eyed faith that turns farm boys into killers. Ike sinks into his chair, a map's plastic sheen reflecting his tired eyes. Outside, thunder rumbles distant flak. No, just weather closing in, grounding the C-47s that should be ferrying ammo forward. Patton's spearheads grind on, oblivious, their treads chewing cobblestone in Thuringia. G is kicking indoors to find cellars stocked with schnapps and surrender flags. He flips open the folder Smith dropped. Walker's the 12th Corps. 4th Armored has rolled 50 miles in 72 hours. Bagging 5,000 krauts near Weimar site of that godforsaken camp, Buchenwald, liberated yesterday. Photos spill out. Skeletal prisoners cheering tanks, emaciated arms waving like reeds. Eisenhower's stomach turns. This isn't glory, it's grim harvest. Patton wired personally. We found hell on earth, Ike. Foil be damned, pushing to Leipzig. Leipzig, the industrial gut of the Reich, Luftwaffe factories belching smoke even now. But supply? 3rd Army's got 3 days gas, max. 1 panzer counterattack, and they're foot soldiers in enemy land. You could almost taste the diesel fumes from here, murmurs Kay, lingering by the door, her uniform crisp against the room's disarray. She knows better than to pry, but her eyes say it. The boss is fraying. Eisenhower waves her off gently, then lights another Chesterfield. Smoke curls like battlefield fog. He remembers North Africa. 42 Pattons slap heard round the world. 2 shell-shocked privates catching his backhand. Ike buried it, reassigned him, because you don't waste lightning. But lightning strikes blind. Now, with V-Day tantalizingly close, one misstep could gift the Ruhr to money or let Reds snatch Berlin. Smith re-enters, rain dripping from his cap. Sir, Monty's signal just decoded. Demands we halt Patton at the Mulde River, redirect to his northern thrust. Claims moral right to the Ruhr, British blood bought it. Eisenhower snorts, but there's no mirth. Monty, ever the prima donna, his market garden flop still stinging. Arnhem, 17,000 paras, dropped into a meat grinder for nothing. Ike's broad front strategy methodical, chewing the Wehrmacht like a bulldog clashes with Patton's Greyhound sprint. Yet Bradley backs the sprint. 3rd Army's killed more Krauts than anyone. Numbers don't lie. 1.2 million enemies since Normandy, Patton's tally highest. He stands abruptly, boots thudding on the plank floor. Grabs his helmet, Eisenhower cap khaki, stars gleaming. Beetle, wake the drivers. I'm going forward to 12th Army Group tonight. Smith's eyes widen. Sir, Jerry saboteurs, screw him. I need to see Bradley face to face, feel the pulse. The room stirs aids materialize, Packing overlays, thermoses clinking. Kay hands him his greatcoat, fingers brushing his arm. Come back whole, General. He nods, steeling himself. The drive to Luxembourg. 150 miles of liberated road. Checkpoints manned by jittery MPs, jeeps bouncing through shell craters. Dawn breaks muddy as the convoy rolls out, wipers slapping rain from windshields. Eisenhower rides shotgun in the lead staff car, radio tuned to 3rd Army Frex. Static, then Patton's gravelly twang. God damn it, Brad, my boys can taste Berlin. One more push link with Simpson's 9th, and race those Bolsheviks. Laughter crackles through the line, tankers whooping. Ike's fist clenches on the door handle. Private Doubt boils to certainty. Speeds a siren song, luring them past caution into trap. Reports from Ultra. Models Army Group B reforming near the Harz Mountains. 200 Panthers fueled by desperation. One ambush, and Patton's invincible corps dissolves. The staff car hits a pothole, jolting Ike forward. He glances at the driver, young sergeant from Kansas, whistling Yankee Doodle. Youth unscarred. How many like him litter the Rhine approaches already? Bradley's CP looms ahead chateau turned bunker, antennas bristling like porcupine quills. But as tires crunch gravel, a runner sprints out, face ashen. General. Patton's just radioed taken Leipzig bridge intact, but SS Panzers hit Walker's flank. Heavy losses. Eisenhower's blood runs cold. The bulls charged into the arena, cape waving. Has he ordered too late? Eisenhower bursts from the staff car before it fully stops, gravel spraying under his boots. The runner, a lanky lieutenant with mud-caked chevrons, snaps a salute that wobbles. Sir, it's bad 4th Armored reports. 30 tanks knocked out near Naumburg. SS Das Reich Division counterattacking with King Tigers. Walker's holding the bridge, but ammo's down to 20%. Ike's mind races. King Tigers, those 70-ton behemoths with 88mm guns that punch through Shermans like butter. Leipzig's prize, a rail hub feeding the Eastern Front, slipping through fingers stained with GI blood. Bradley waits at the chateau door, pipe clenched in teeth, his Oklahoma drawl steady as ever. Ike, come in from the rain. Coffee's hot. Inside, the 12th Army Group CP hums, stenos clacking, radios squawking in code, walls papered with acetate maps, showing Patton's red arrows stabbing deep into Saxony. Bradley spreads fresh overlays, black swastika icons massing, supply traces flickering red for critical. George is furious, Ike. Your halt order came mid-charge. Says it'll let the Reds waltz into Berlin while we piss around the Ruhr. Eisenhower shrugs off his dripping coat, water pooling like spilled fuel. You can smell the tension-stale tobacco, wet wool, the faint metallic tang of fierce sweat. He jabs a finger at the map. Omar, it's not pissing, it's strategy. Patton's outrun his tail by 250 miles. One SS riposte, and 3rd Army's encircled like the Brits at Dunkirk. Ultra confirms models pulling Panthers from the Ruhr defenses straight at us. Bradley nods slow, but his eyes flicker doubt. He's Patton's buffer, the steady hand to George's wild swing. He's taken 20,000 prisoners since the Rhine. Ike. Factories, V2 sites, even that Messerschmitt plant at Regensburg. Slow him, and Monty's boys scoop the glory. A field phone jangles. Bradley snatches it, listens, face draining color. God damn it. Walker's pulling back from the bridge, blown by Kraut rearguard. Casualties mounting. Eisenhower's gut twists. He pictures it. Shermans brewing up under Tiger fireballs, crews bailing into machine gun crossfire, the Elbe glittering mockingly beyond. Private Doubts scream, now Patton's speed, liberated camps, crushed pockets, but at what butcher's bill? Bastogne was a miracle. This is a gamble with empires. Get Patton on the horn, Ike snaps. Static hisses, then that unmistakable bark. Bradley? Ike there? Tell the Kansas farm boy I'm not stopping for tea. Eisenhower grabs the receiver, voice iron. George, it's Ike. Stand fast at the mule. Link with Simpson's Ninth Army. No more freelancing. Silence stretches, taut as a tripwire. Then Patton explodes. Ike, you playing Monty's game? My boys can smell the Spree Berlin's ours. The Russians are slower than molasses. Give me 48 hours. Ike cuts in sharp. 48 hours gets you a division in Graves. Obey the damn order, General. Click. Bradley exhales smoke, studying Ike. He'll comply, but it'll eat him alive. You see it in his eyes last time, the slap in Sicily, the bulge march. Man's a racehorse. You hobble him, he breaks. Eisenhower paces, boots echoing on stone floors scarred by shrapnel. Outside, rain lashes windows, thunder masking distant artillery. He thinks of Kay back in Reims, her quiet worry. Of Roosevelt's cables demanding V-Day by May. Of Churchill's barbs about American impetuosity. Patton's the blade, but Ike wields the hilt. Halt him here. Preserve the army for occupation, Japan. Push him. Risk it all for a photo op in the Reichstag. Aides burst in new ultra-intercept. Sir, Zhukov's first Belarusian front jumps off tomorrow. 2 million men toward Berlin. Patton's 200 miles out. Reds are 60. Eisenhower freezes. The race is real Stalin's bear claws closing fast. Bradley grins wolfish. Told you. Let George run. But Ike sees the trap. Overextend and bypassed SS pocket swell, werewolf guerrillas rising from cellars. Last night's report? Ambush near Gotha. 50G is strung up from lampposts. Signs reading, Patton's speed kills. He straightens, decision crystallizing. Omar, reinforce the link-up, but tell George discretionary advance if contact made. Controlled speed. Bradley nods, relaying the order. Radios crackle alive. Yet as Eisenhower steps toward the door, a runner skids in, eyes wild. Third Army signaled Pattons ignored the halt. Tanks rolling toward Dresden. And, sir, Soviet forward elements spotted south of the Elbe. They're across already. The room spins silent. Has the leash slipped for good? Eisenhower's hand freezes on the doorframe, knuckles white as the runner's report sinks in like a dud round. Dresden Patton's tanks, churning toward the cultural corpse of Germany. Firebombed to ash just weeks ago by the RAF. Soviet forward elements across the Elbe already? Zhukov's vanguards, T-34s splashing through spring thaw, outflanking from the south while Patton's Shermans grind north. Bradley slams a fist on the map table, upsetting coffee mugs that clatter like spent casings. That stubborn bastard. He's going to hand the war to the Reds on a platter. The CP erupts teletypes rattling, aides shouting into handsets, the air thick with the ozone crackle of desperation. You can feel the floor vibrate from distant truck engines revving outside, ready to chase the chaos. Eisenhower spins back, eyes locking on the overlay, red Third Army arrows now forking wildly. One prong at the Mulde as ordered, the other Pattons pet-lunging for Dresden's ruins, 50 miles beyond the halt line. Ultra-pips blink. SS Kampfrupp Hansen reforming near Meissen. 150 Jagdpanzers camouflaged in pine thickets, waiting like spiders. Get me air recon now. Ike barks to an intelligence captain, whose fingers fly over the radio man's console. Static, then a spotter pilot's voice, strained over engine roar. Eagle 1, visual on 3rd Army van. Heavy flak at grid, 456 to 789. Kraut armor dug in, sir. Patton's lead elements engaged looks like a hornet's nest. Eisenhower visualizes it. Dawn light glinting off turret rings. 75mm shells arcing in fiery parabolas. G is in foxholes, trading Garand cracks for MG-42 buzzsaws. The Elbe's a silver ribbon mocking them, Berlin's dome a phantom beyond. Bradley lights a pipe, puffing furiously. Ike, call it off. Ground him, or we'll lose a course. But doubt flickers in the old cavalryman's eyes. He has seen Patton pull rabbits from hell before. The Saar jump in 44, crossing the Moselle under fire when engineers drowned. Eisenhower grabs the secure line to Reims, Smith's gravelly tone answering. Sir? Beadle here. Monty's apoplectic threatening to bypass us entirely. Ike's reply cuts sharp. Tell Monty to stuff it. And scramble thunderbolts from 9th Air Force. Patton needs close support yesterday. Outside, the rain eases to mist, revealing Bradley's chateau perched on a hill overlooking Luxembourg's scarred valleys. Eisenhower steps onto the porch, lighting a cigarette that tastes of ash. Private thoughts surge unbidden. Patton's not just fast. He's possessed. Sicily, 43 racing Montgomery to Messina, capturing 40,000 Italians while Monty dawdled. France, 44 Argenton Gap, 50,000 Krauts trapped because George smelled blood. But this? Overextended 300 miles from depots, divisions at 60% strength, medics trudging boys with limbs pulped by panther tracks. Reports from Buchenwald haunt him. Patton wept there and drove harder, as if vengeance fueled the treads. A jeep screeches up, mud flinging. Out piles Major General Hobart Gay, Patton's chief of staff, face smeared with road grime, pistol still holstered. General Ike. George sent me personal. Says the halt's suicide. Reds'll rape Berlin. Leave us the scraps. He's got the 8th Corps bridging the Elbe at Torgau tonight. Link up with the 9th, then straight shot to the spree. Eisenhower's blood boils. Defiance, raw as a bayonet thrust. Hobby, tell George he's relieving himself if he doesn't wheel in. Model's panzers will chew him up. Gay stands firm, rain dripping from his helmet. Sir, with respect, he's already across the muled secondary bridges. Casualties light, prisoners pouring in. And the Soviets? They're waving white flags at our patrols. Panic in the ranks. A revelation hits like a 105mm shell. The Wehrmacht's cracking. SS diehards the only spine left. Ultra confirms Himmler's ghost divisions evaporating. Donitz suing in the north. Patton's speed might be the scalpel, carving the Reich's heart before Stalin's hammer falls. Back inside, the map updates. P-47 strafe the SS flank. Rex smoking near Riesa. Bradley grins. They're holding, Ike. George might have threaded the needle. But then the teleprinter chatters urgent. 3rd Army HQ. SS counterpenetration at Dresden outskirts. 4th Armored HQ destroyed. Patton wounded shrapnel, leg. Demanding ambulances and gas, disregarding halt. Eisenhower's world tilts. Wounded? The unbreakable Patton down, tanks stalled in Dresden's rubble. Elbe bridges under Soviet artillery from the far bank. Has the firebrand's blaze consumed him at last? Eisenhower's cigarette drops from numb fingers, sparking on the wet stone porch before the wind snuffs it. Wounded. Patton invincible George S. Patton, Jr., the man who charged machine guns at Metz, with a swagger stick hit by shrapnel in Dresden's Chernow house. Bradley's pipe clatters to the floor. Forgotten. Christ, Ike, that's the end of it. The CP falls into stunned rhythm. Aides whispering into phones. A medic prepping a crash kit nobody wants to use. The map table's lamps casting long shadows over the frozen advance lines. You can almost hear the chaos 150 miles east. The thunder of 155mm long tom shelling SS positions. The scream of P-47s diving through flak bursts. 50 cal tracers stitching the sky. Hobart Gay's face crumples. He grabs the radio himself. Hobby to 3rd Army Actual George. Talk to me? Evac status? Static rips back, then a staff officer's voice, edged with panic. Major Gay, it's hot day wait. No Colonel Codnan here. General's hit bad leg mangled, possible artery. Field dressing holding, but he's cussing the docs to get him back in the saddle. The 8th Corps bridging the Elbe under fire Russians spotting our smokes already. Eisenhower storms inside, shouldering past aides, his voice a whip crack. Scramble every surgeon in 12th Army Group. Medevac chopper now. And tell those flyboys to own the skies over Dresden. Bradley nods, already barking coordinates to air ops. The room pulses alive, teletypes hammering like garons on full auto. Ike spreads a fresh acetate. Patton's rogue prong bleeds men at grid Meissen 23. Black SS icons coiling like vipers. At gaps appear deserters flooding roads west, white rags on sticks. Ultra intercepts flood in. Model dead by his own hand near Magdeburg. Army Group B dissolving into rout. Private reckoning hits Eisenhower like a gut shot. All those midnight doubts speed as poison now taste of prophecy. Yet without Patton's lash, would Bastogne have held? The Rhine crossed? Buchenwald's gates flung wide? He pictures George in a foxhole dust-caked helmet tilted back, barking orders through gritted teeth. Tell Ike this scratch, whoa, and stop me from hanging that paper hanger's corpse. Blood soaks the command tent canvas in Ike's mind, mixing with diesel and cordite. Jeeps roar up outside medevac team piling in, red crosses stark on hoods. A turns to Eisenhower, eyes pleading. Sir, let us push. 1 Corps across the Elbe, link with the Reds at Torgau, like planned. Berlin's crumbling Hitler's bunker, a rat hole. Bradley chimes in, matte grease on his fingers. Ike, the halt saved the army, but now, momentum's ours. Monty's stalled at the Weser, Brits licking wounds from U-boat packs. Temptation coils. Roosevelt's ghost urges Glory V-Day headlines, screaming, Patton bags Berlin. Churchill fumes in cables. Ike, don't give Stalin the heartland. A runner skids through the door, soaked and shouting. Priority flash, sir. Patton stabilized airlifted to field hospital near Leipzig. Demands conference call. Says models remnants surrendering in mass, Dresden secured. The 8th Corps has bridgehead 500 yards deep, expanding. Cheers erupt, ragged but real. Eisenhower exhales, shoulders easing a fraction. He grabs the secure line, heart pounding like a pinned billboy's. Static clears to Patton's rasp, pain slurred but defiant. Ike, ... You were right about the leash. But damn if we ain't across the Elbe. Reds waving vodka bottles at our sentry's joint patrol forming. Your broad front worked. Now finish it. Relief floods hot, mingled with shame for the doubts. Eisenhower grips the receiver. George, you crazy bastard. Rest up. We'll link arms with Avan, then march to the spree together. Click. The CP exhales collective breath. But Bradley's grin fades as new overlays drop. Zhukov's shock armies surging. T-34, 85s churning mud to the Oder bridgeheads. Soviet flags already flutter over Potsdam. And a whisper from signals intel. Himmler's envoys slipping west under truce flags, begging separate peace. Eisenhower steps to the window, dawn gilding the hills. Patton lives, the spearhead holds, but the prize slips eastward. Has reining in the bull cost them the Reichstag steps? Eisenhower lingers at the window, the first rays slicing through mist like searchlight beams, probing for subs. Potsdam's Soviet flag's red banners snapping over Prussian palaces mock from the map, 100 miles east. Zhukov's juggernaut, 6,000 tanks, 1,000,000 bayonets, artillery barrages that turn forests to matchsticks. Patton's bridgehead clings like a climber's fingers on sheer cliff. The 8th Corps digging in under Soviet observation, uneasy handshakes across the water. You can almost taste the awkward truce vodka shared with wary grins. G is trading Hershey bars for Red Army watches, while SS snipers pick off the parley. Bradley sidles up, pipe relite, voice low. Ike, George is down, but not out. Docs say he'll walk by week's end, maybe command from a cast. But those Himmler whispers? Separate peace talks near Munich. SS brass offering Ruhr intact if we halt east of the Elbe. Eisenhower's jaw sets like concrete curing. Himmler, that spectacled spider, architect of camps, now peddling survival. Churchill's cables scream for it. Carve the Reich, deny Stalin half. Roosevelt, fading in warm springs, murmurs of Yalta promises broken. The CP stirs with fresh traffic jeeps churning mud, bringing forward observers from the Elbe line. One stumbles in, a buck sergeant from the 6th Armored, helmet liner, bloodied, eyes hollow. Sir... saw it myself. Patton's boys linked with 9th Army at Barbie Bridge, blown by Krauts, but pontoons going down under fire. Russians on the far bank, cheering like it's VE already. Then ... werewolves. Kids, Sir Hitler youth with Panzerfausts. Blew 3 half-tracks. Lost my LT. He slumps into a chair, medic slapping morphine syrettes. Eisenhower kneels, hand on shoulder. You held the line, son. That's what wins. Private ghosts rise unbidden. Patton slap victims, shell-shocked faces in Sicilian hospitals. The bulge dead, snow-crusted rifles frozen in rictus grips. Buchenwald stacks, smoke still curling when 3rd Army rolled in. Speed unearthed horrors, but also victories 400,000 Krauts since the Rhine. V weapons silenced, U-boat pens cracked. Ike straightens, turning to Bradley. Omar, consolidate the Elbe. No further east without my nod. Airdrops for Patton ammo, fuel, surgeons. And get K on the line, tell her George is a tough nut. Teleprinter chatters. 3rd Army medevac report Patton en route to SHAEF Hospital, Reims. Morale high. Troops dubbing halt line, Patton's pause jokes on Jerry. Chuckles ripple, tension cracking like ice under treads. Hobart Gay rallies aides, plotting relief columns. But Ultra drops the hammer. Zhukov stormed Silo Heights, Berlin encircled by noon tomorrow. Soviet Il-2 Sturmedics strafe anything moving east of the Oder. And Montgomery's 21st Army Group, creeping to Bremen, griping about Yankee overreach in dispatches leaked to London press. Eisenhower paces to the map, tracing the broad front, Americans pinning the Ruhr, Brits mopping north, French pinching south. Patton's rogue thrust forced the issue, drew SS reserves into the grinder. Doubt ebbs. Speed wasn't poison. It was the prod that broke paralysis. Yet Berlin fades Hitler's bunker, a Soviet killbox. Goebbels ranting final broadcasts. AIDS pipe in FDR's latest. Ike secure Rhine West Bank. Berlin symbolic. Japan awaits. Politics, always the hidden flak. Dawn swells, birdsong piercing the mist first peace notes in months. Bradley claps Ike's back. You balanced it, General. George'll get his stars post-war. We'll get the war won. But as a P-51 buzzes low overhead, bound for Elbe Cap, a runner bursts panting. Flash traffic, sir. Patton from the litter-intercepted SS radio. Himmler's plane down by Reds en route to us. And Zhukov's vanguards at Berlin gates offering joint assault. Stalin personally. Eisenhower's pulse spikes. Joint with Ivan? Or race them to the rubble? The firebrand's shadow looms large, even bandaged. Eisenhower's eyes narrow at the runner's words, the CP falling into that electric hush before a barrage lifts. Himmler's plane, a Ru-52, fat and silver-plumed into the sky by Soviet flak over the Elbe, his separate peace fantasy crashing in a fireball meadow. Zhukov offering joint assault. Stalin's paw reaching across the corpse-littered approaches to Berlin, where the Chancellery's dome squats like a toad under siege. Bradley mutters, Ivan wants photo ops with our boys, then claims the spoils. A map glares back. Soviet pincers clamping the city, 80% encircled, but American patrols just 90 miles west, tantalizingly close. You can almost smell the bunker rot from here, sweat-soaked uniforms, gasoline-soaked papers ready for the torch, Hitler's tremors shaking the concrete vault. Eisenhower snaps to the signals officer. Decode that Zhukov offer verbatim, and patch me through to Patton's litter priority one. Static hisses as lines scramble. The room's lamps flickering on cables, strained by overuse. Outside, P-51s throttle up for cap runs, props chewing mist into vapor trails. Hobart Gay leans in, whispering, "George'll say charge, Ike. Man's got one gear, forward." The field phone crackles alive Patton's voice, morphine thick but barbed. "Ike? Doc's pumped me full of junk. But I heard, Reds want a piece? Tell him to piss off, we link at Torgo, then roll those bastards together. My leg's a stump. Get me a crutch and a tank." Laughter barks through the pane, raw as a saw on bone. Eisenhower grips tighter. "George, you're sidelined. Elbe holds. Berlin's their meat grinder. We've got the Ruhr pocket 400,000 Krauts trapped. That's the kill shot." Patton growls back. "Ruhr's scraps. Spandau Arms Works, the Zoo Flak Tower prizes for Monty. You doubt my speed again, Ike? Doubt? It stabs fresh." Private ledgers unroll in Ike's mind. Third Army's 500-mile sprint from Lorraine to Saxony. 1.5 million enemies shattered. Kevs liberated from Mauthausen to Dachau. Speed unearthed the Reich's rotting core slave factories, belching smoke. Rail cars of bones. But the butcher's bill, 80,000 casualties since the Rhine, half from overreach. Bastone's ghosts whisper approval. Bastone widows curse the gamble. Bradley watches, pipe cold as Ike hangs up. He's right about one thing: Stalin smells weakness. Aides swarm with tea and overlays Zhukov's proposal decoded. Joint forces to liberate Berlin suburbs. American armor supporting Soviet infantry assaults on the Tiergarten bunkers. Churchill's cable pings seconds later. Ike reject. Yalta be damned. Deny Bolshevism the cradle. Roosevelt's warmer. Cooperation wins peace, Dwight. Politics coils like barbed wire. Montgomery chimes in via secure teletype. Patton's folly exposed halt all adventurism. 21st Army Group takes Hamburg intact. The Limey's caution grates. Arnhem's 6,000 paras, still fresh graves. Eisenhower steps outside. Gravel crunching under boots. The Luxembourg dawn crisp with promise. Sentries salute. M1C gleaming wet. He lights at Chesterfield, inhaling deep the tobacco, grounding him amid the swirl. Patton taught him. Armies march on audacity, not spreadsheets. Yet Ike's broad front chewed the Wehrmacht methodically Normandy to the Elbe. No Dunkirk routes. Speed won battles. Balance wins wars. A distant rumble rolls in, not thunder, but Soviet heavies shelling Tepelov. 155 millimeters echoes bouncing off the hills. Back inside, the teleprinter hammers urgent. Third Army forward elements report Berlin refugees streaming west. 10,000 in 24 hours. Women, kids, waving dollars. SS executing stragglers. Human tide unleashed by Patton's lash. Bradley nods grim. Your call saved the Army, Ike. Now join up or consolidate. Temptation flares. Cross the Elbe. Seize the Brandenburg Gate shoulder to shoulder with even. Headlines eternal. Or halt, occupy west. Let Reds bleed on the rubble. A medic chopper thuds overhead, bound for Reims with Patton aboard blades whipping mist to froth. Eisenhower watches it bank east, a dark speck against the rising sun. Then the runner returns, face ghost white. Ultra intercept, Sir Hitler's last order decoded. Nero decree, burn Berlin, poison wells. And Patton's boys just found a V2 silo intact near Wittenberg armed, countdown ticking. Do we let the Reds claim it? The fuse burns shorter. Glory or survival? Eisenhower's cigarette snaps between his fingers. Embers scattering like tracer rounds into the Luxembourg mud. 5-2 silo-armed, countdown ticking near Wittenberg, just 40 miles from Patton's Elbe toehold. Hitler's Nero decree: scorch Berlin, poison the wells, leave a wasteland for the victors. Refugees clog the roads west. Skeletal figures clutching bundles. SS enforcers machine gunning the weak in ditches. The CP door bangs open behind him, Bradley's voice urgent. Ike, it's live 3rd Army demo team scrambling, but Soviet artillery zeroed the grid. One wrong shell, and that bird's a mushroom cloud over Magdeburg. You can feel the clock's teeth gnashing seconds, bleeding out like hemiphages from a gut wound. Eisenhower barrels inside, aides parting like Red Sea infantry. The map pulses red, V2 icon blinking at Wittenberg, Soviet salients lapping its flanks. Patton's the 8th Corps, a fragile bridgehead 20 miles south. Ultra crackles. Hitler bunker confirmed Führer orders total destruction. Goebbels broadcasting suicide pact. Bradley jabs the phone. George's surgeons say he's stable demanding field command from the cot. The secure line to Reims lights up Patton first, raspy and unbowed. Ike, forget the leg. Send my 4th Armored Remnants to that silo. Redzel botch it, turn Saxony to glass. Your broad front needs my knife. Eisenhower cuts the bullshit. George, you're benched. Demo's airborne P-47's topping cover. But the Nero burn? Refugees report SS torching rail yards. Gas mains cracked open. Static, and Patton's laugh, bitter as quinine. Knew you'd doubt the speed, Buck, but without it, we'd be sipping tea at the Rhine, while Ivan rapes the Elbe. Churchill's cable slams the teletype. Seize silo. Deny Stalin weapon. Berlin rebel his by default. FDR's follows, weaker. Dwight humanity first. Halt east, save lives. Montgomery sneers via dispatch. Patton circus over. 21st Army Group secures north uncontested. Politics shreds like 88mm impacts. Eisenhower grabs the air ops console. Voice steal over roar. Thunderbolt lead priority alpha on Wittenberg silo. Bazooka teams drop with pathfinders. No Soviet chatter hours alone. Outside, the sky bruises with Contrail's P-47s arrowing east, engines growling like Patton's ghost. The CP holds breath, radios alive with spire calls. Eagle flight, visual siloist S-guards bailing, timer exposed. Flak light, dropping demo charges. Boom echoes faint, then cheers erupt as confirmation pings. Silo neutralized. Secondary explosion stockpile cooked. Eisenhower exhales, fist unclenching. Private doubts dissolve in the smoke. Patton's speed unearthed the prize. Ike's leash diffused it. Zhukov's joint offer sours. Stalin radios Kirk rejection. His armies drowning Berlin in blood. Tempelhof falls. Tiergarten bunkers crack under Katyushas. By dusk, Ultra confirms. Hitler dead, shot in the jaw by Ava's hand. Goebbels and clan cyanide in the garden. Himmler's charred wreck picked over by Soviet crows. Patton wires from his Reims bed. Your call, Ike. Speed got us here. Caution finishes it. Beers post-war? Eisenhower steps into twilight, the chateau's shadow long across victory's mud. Bradley joins him, pipe glowing. You balanced the bull, General. Ruhr pockets close tomorrow on million prisoners. V-Day, May 8th. Distant guns fade to pops. Refugees' fires twinkling like stars, reclaiming the night. No Brandenburg photo, no Soviet handshake. But the Reichstag's theirs by default. West secure for democracy's boot. The broad front held. Speed's fire tempered into forge. War won, not gambled.